What's up? Thought I'd come on after MLC. See if I can, I don't know, get some of their followers to come over here. Why watch the LA Kings and the Florida Panthers? It's a new era. Score. Trevor Moore in the house. The Kings are up 1-0 against the Florida Panthers. I'm enjoying my streaming. So this is as you guys know, the Earl Skakel YouTube page is now fully monetized. Yo, Earl. Lois is asleep. We just did a long walk. Do I think Bucks should be Sting's final match? You think he'd be up against up-and-coming tag team who needs it more? Thank you, Catherine. It's a pain in the ass to get monetized, I'm not going to lie. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. Good evening, Chris Mack. You know, they don't really have an affiliation with Sting. But, you know, it's a weird... I mean, they have a month and a half to build it. So, hello, Brittany. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it. You know, but I don't know who else in AEW has a Sting affiliation. I mean, all the guys who would kind of be cool for Sting to wrestle, you know, are all pretty old themselves. You know, like it would be awesome to see Nikita Koloff show up. Not to wrestle, but just to make an appearance. And I think him and Sting are, you know, they're in that reborn Christian world. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, you know, I mean, I don't think you can have Sting do a singles match. Although the Scorpion death drop last night with Powerhouse Hobbs off the railing, that was pretty cool. I mean, I would love to be a wrestling heel manager. I think I'd be very good at that. Because I know how to draw heat. But their travel schedule is so crazy that my stand-up schedule would probably be non-existent. But I would absolutely get a large social media following. I mean, I would go from, I think on Instagram I have 11,700. If I was on AEW, I'd have 50,000 in a couple weeks. So who knows? I mean, I'd probably have to start off in an indie show. I mean, I'd rather be Gary Hart. I would love to manage Karrion Kross. He's funny. Dottie Three Rips in the house. Precious Paul Ellerin. But I'd be really good. And a lot of the things I would say, you wouldn't even hear them. Like, say if I was walking carrying cross to the ring, I'd call someone in the crowd fat. I'd basically roast the crowd. And I mean, carrying cross can talk on his own. But that would be a guy I would love to work with. And who knows? I think it would be me, carrying cross, and some big-titted blonde. What up? What's up, William Zoom? I'm just chilling right now. I saw MLC ended, so I thought, let me see if it benefits me to do a stream following MLC. Very last minute, I'm watching the Kings and Florida Panther game right now. Yeah, I saw the picture. I mean, are they in NXT or WWE? I don't really watch WWE. I'm AEW for life. And, I would love to manage the Undisputed, the Devil and his henchmen. Because although Adam Cole is good on the mic, he's not great on the mic. I am. Or Wardlow, I think, would be good to have a manager. Because he's not great on the mic. No, I'm not going to pay. I don't watch WWE, so I'm not going to pay for a pay-per-view. Although I've heard through the grapevine that Sean Spears might be number 10. I mean, The Rock's a pretty big guy. I saw him a couple years ago working out at Equinox, and he's pretty big. So we'll see what happens. Man, I'm watching this King Florida Panther game, and a lot of empty seats in Florida. And they're a good team. That's how uninterested I am in the WWE, Teddy. I don't even want to watch it for free. But DM it to me anyway on Twitter. And of course, you might say, how can one get a hold of Earl? We got a breakaway. Shot wide by Reinhardt. You can follow me everywhere at Earl Skakel. Yeah, but right now, what time is it in Florida? It's got to be about 7:30. Hello, Spurg Snake. I've been doing so many live streams lately. I'm almost at the 4,000 hour mark. It's crazy how you can do streams and you don't really think about it, and then before you know it, you're almost at the 4,000 hour mark. Now that's where the big money comes in. But what do you mean my mail is closed? Are we friends on Twitter, Teddy? Send me a friend request right now, and I will accept it. Let's be friends on Twitter. I mean, I pay for all my pay-per-views, actually. I know the Russian websites, to be honest with you. Well, no, but when you hit the 4,000 hour, you can now put ads in your videos, and I don't have like a ton of videos that have like a lot of views, but like some of my stand-up comedy shorts do pretty well. So, you're not going to be rich on super chats or super stickers or ads on your videos, but you know, if you're consistent, you can, it's great side income. You could make, whatever you can make in super chats and then on the ads on the videos, you can make, I don't know, if you do just okay, 700 to $1,000 a month. It's not going to make you rich. It's not going to pay your mortgage, but it'll it's more money than you had before you started. Oh yeah, I mean, you're not, like I said, William, you're not gonna, you're not gonna become rich, unless you're Kevin or Shuley or Carl, who have established, 1,000-person live chats, and then you got to figure out of the 1,000 people who are listening, probably 100 are super chatting with consistency. So that's it's a nice couple shekels. Brian, sorry, it is hard to read all the questions. Did you watch MLC today? If so, thoughts? I watched it. I went to walk my dog, Lois, who's right there. Apparently, Chad and Melton got into a beef. I think I came back right as they were kicked off, both of them. So I'll have to watch the replay. Yeah, I mean, that's my goal, Chris. I mean, I'm putting up these stand-up comedy videos just to get my name out there. So, if I can make a few bucks doing it, right? I mean, like, for example, I could get a new iMac, which, I mean, not that my camera's bad right now, but, I think, I mean, this is, I think, a 2-year-old iMac. So I'm sure, given how much they update their products, that the new iMac camera is pretty good. So just for stuff like that. Blue Chew ad reads soon. Hey, I would do that, Prince Vince. I mean, I'm 55. Send me some free Blue Chew, and I'll let you know if it takes. I mean, Matt Rife was doing Blue Chew ads 2 years ago. So, I got no shame in the game. But for you hockey fans, the Kings are up 1-0 with 8:39 left to go in the first period in a half-empty Florida Panthers arena. Yeah, no, that's a smart idea, William. The Earl Skakel YouTube channel. Well, I mean, I think where I could make good super chat money is if enough wrestling fans got into this show or this stream, that I think would differentiate me from a lot of people. Yeah, Skakel Co. LLC. I mean, hey, man, there's worse ideas out there, Mr. Zoom. Because wrestling fans are fanatic, and I think, and I won't go members only, I'm not going to squeeze my fans for money, but yeah. I mean, I'm really trying to not be reliant on the Dabbleverse world, but I also realize a lot of you have come over from that world. So I don't want to be dismissive towards you guys and say, well, I'm not going to talk about this, that, and the other. But I mean, world is so negative, man. I just can't. I can't be involved in that world full time. Uh, yeah, but I know what I'm talking about, William, and I'm funny, so I think that differentiates me from a lot of the wrestling uh, commentary out there. And I'm kind of AEW specific, and there really isn't an AEW only stream. I mean, I know Bischoff and Conrad do their thing, and my buddy the Hannibal does his thing. I mean, the Hannibal makes a nice living, and he's not, he's a wrestler, so he's not the funniest guy, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, my streaming is well, but I think you're right. You're definitely right there. Like, I think a hockey live chat would be tough because, but if you could get a hockey chat pumping, and I realize I would lose a lot of you if I did just hockey only. What up, Jay Santos? Hockey fans are very much like wrestling fans. It's a niche uh, subject, either one. But I think wrestling fans are. Ted, I just got your Instagram DM. Thank you. I'm going to follow you back. Now you have to follow me back. Well, I think Hannibal, though, and I'm a big fan of his, but I think that he's not the most, like, he's a wrestler. Oh, shit. Mike Schlabs, $4.99. Earl, Janie Lane, Bobby in a podcast said she told you who did something to him. Blink twice if it was the electric eye guy. Also love the wrestling talk. You guys know me, and thank you very much, Mike, for the $5 super chat. Any amount is appreciated. I'm not pleading poverty, but like I said, the super chats and stickers and whatnot will fund new equipment. Maybe a dinner here and there. She did not tell me, to be honest with you. I mean, what I did say and what I found interesting was I had randomly brought up Judas Priest. And she kind of shot me a look like, I don't want to talk about them. And she kind of had a snide comment about Rob Halford. So I think most people took from that Rob Halford is the one who is suspected of doing something to Janie Lane. But, you got to be real careful with that stuff in terms of allegations, because, that could ruin a man or woman if you say that and it's not true. I mean, this is kind of a off topic, but I had a friend of mine, him and his girlfriend had a bad breakup, and she accused him of sexual assault. And she later recanted, said, I was just mad. I was just trying to get him back. And, but she recanted like a year ago or a year later. So he just kind of looked at me once at the comedy store. He's like, bro, you know what? I know half the people think I did it. So I kind of actually wish I did it. Because if people think I did it, I might as well get something out of it. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that logic, but I understood what he was saying. Like I had an ex-girlfriend tell people I threw her down a flight of stairs. But what saved me was everyone knows me. They just know I didn't do that. So I didn't even have to really fight it that much. Well, I mean, I don't know, William. Uh, I mean, I like the Flyers. I'm a big John Tortorella fan. We're going in and out from sexual assault to hockey to heavy metal. Um, in terms of Rob Halford, I don't know. I mean, it was I mean, I was a little too young to fully involve myself in the Sunset Strip scene, but I did go to some pretty wacky parties. There was a guy named Paul Fegan. Everyone called him Fig. He's still alive. And he would drive around in a purple Stutz. I think that's the car. And he would drive around with a cat on his left shoulder. And he had these wild parties with Bill Gazzari. And I went to one or two of them. And it was just like, even back then, I was like, man, there's a lot of young girls there. Like, young. So, and I'm sure in the gay scene, on Santa Monica Boulevard, just below Sunset, who knows what was happening. Well, William, it's funny. I looked into suing her because I just got sick of people asking me about it. Like, hey, just because everyone loves me so much in the comedy scene in LA, people, hey, just so you know, so and so is saying this about you. So I retained a lawyer for $2,500, and he was like, "Hey, I'm the best at what I do," because he does a lot of celebrities, and he's like, to prove. Oh, no problem, Clara. You related to Bill? No, I'm just kidding. He's like, to prove libel or slander, you have to prove exactly what they said, not what you think they said, not around an estimate of what they said. You have to prove who they said it to, and you have to get them to turn on them and testify for you. And it's just not likely you'd win. Not because I don't believe you, but and this girl that I dated had particular issues of dating someone or fucking them, and then as soon as that was over, she'd go into accusatory mode. I don't know why you would do that, but I guess I was one of many victims. Yeah, I mean, I've had some. I mean, those stories. Usually the night would start at the Rainbow. Because you got to understand, all these places are within 1 block of each other, and all packed. And I think the Magliari family owns all three, or at least they used to. I cannot say, William. I just, usually I name names, but it doesn't really matter. But that was really my only time. It's my only time ever being accused of something like that. So it was kind of a bummer. But getting back to the Sunset Strip. So you start off at the Rainbow. You go to the Roxy, see if a band was playing there, or you go upstairs in the Roxy at their nightclub called On the Rocks. And then you'd hit the Whiskey. You'd go back to the Rainbow. It's not Lois's mom. I'll just tell you that much. Oh, Mike Schlabs. I hope I'm saying your name right. Schlabs or Schlabs? My Schlabs. $4.99. Young is all good as long as you're not Grizzly Smith. Anyways, loved you on Dixon and MLC. Opened up your catalog to me, hoping you keep growing. I very much appreciate that. I was worried about me going on Pat Dixon's because we don't really know each other. We've never really talked, but 3 hours later, it was great. I mean, I love Pat. Very nice guy. Um, and then I don't feel I add a lot on Kevin's show just because uh, I can't do a stream for 3 or 4 hours. Kevin, Melton, those guys are the kings. Shuley, Carl, Steel Toe, like I fade after about an hour. So yeah, oh yeah. Um, so um, that's why I am judging um, who's roasting the Chad Stevie Lou roast. I think January 30th and January 29th. I think it's I don't. It's on the investigate. I think it's on the Discovery Network. Let me see. My episode of Fame Kills is on. Let me see what channel it's on. DirecTV. So I really shouldn't be doing this. It's on one of those investigative Fame Kills. I can't find it. There's too many fucking channels on TV. Is it the Discovery? I don't know. I will. If you look up Fame Kills, let me see if I can look it up here. Fame Kills. My friend Lori Adana was killed by her husband, and they interviewed me. ID channel. Oh, okay, thank you. I don't know what channel that is on DirecTV, but January 29th, I am on the that episode. I think it's episode 2. And it's a sad. I think William, you asked me last night. The only reason I'm on it was because they heard my podcast with Lori Adana, and she had dated or whatever the Ultimate Warrior, and I had actually had dinner with her and the guy who killed her. So I always thought it was weird when I watched those shows and they have someone on who was like a friend, and it's like, oh man, they're just on to get on TV, but I really wasn't. And I gave whatever money they were paying me to her child, who her family back east is watching, because I think the guy who killed her's in jail. I think he might have gotten out on appeal or something, but so the baby Rocco has no dad or mom. So now, of course, I don't know how they're going to edit it. I've already seen the commercial for it. I don't know. I mean, I'm in it for 1 second. I guess Jim Jeffries is in another episode, and it's and then the girl who Judging Amy. There was like a gangbanger girl who was a regular on Judging Amy, and she's in an episode. She was like a gangbanger, but she got work, and then she got killed, I think, in a drive-by. Something. So it's a new show on the ID channel. So check it out. Lori Dono is a very cool person. She was definitely poised to be the next Judge Judy. And Philip Deneau just, oh, Jesus. Philip Deneau just went into the boards hard. Oof. And when Reinhardt, the guy who put him in the boards, it's like you could tell he was like, "Hey, are you okay?" Um, so not what the Kings needed. We're at the 1-0 for you hockey fans in chat. LA Kings are up 1-0, 1:59 left to go in the first period. The Florida Panthers are on a power play, 1:23 left in the power play. Um, Nothing like getting chat going by talking about LA Kings hockey. But ideally, maybe, yeah, I love Pat. Um, you know, um, she or me and Pat. I don't know. I think I'm older than Pat, but I could tell we have similar interests or whatever. So we did. I think it was almost like a 3-hour podcast, and it went by like that. So I think I'm coming on next week. Um, I've kind of stopped being a guest on other people's podcasts because I don't want to say it doesn't do anything for me, but like I got to concentrate on this channel. Um, but I also realize that a lot of people are in this chat right now because of MLC. So can someone fill me in on what happened between Chad and Melton? I missed it. Even though this isn't a Dabbleverse world, in my chat, I'll assume that they just started yelling at each other. But Kevin loves that shit. So that would be a good roast battle. So Chad should just roast battle people every 2 weeks. So January 30th, Stevie Lou and Chad, I'll be the judge or one of the judges. I'm not sure who the others are. I've already given Kevin advice on how to do it because with Kevin and Stevie Lou, they're going to be yelling at each other and interrupting each other. And a roast battle is the worst when the people don't let the other person talk. So and then January 29th, which I believe is a Monday night on the ID channel. Thank you, William Zoom. I'm not sure how much of the episode I'm on. I'm assuming my podcast clip will be played a lot just because it's really, you can hear her voice. So, all right, we got first period intermission. So we'll pause. We'll pause there. I'm going to yoga and let's see what time it is. In about a half hour. So we can stream for another 20 minutes. Pooter, what up, buddy? Woo, woo. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm still trying to figure out the algorithm here, So I just am, picking certain times. I mean, I've started to see a pattern with my early morning streams that they don't do very well. I don't want to be numbers obsessive, but my Sunday night streams are the best. They average about 300 views. Not the most, not 300 people in chat, but just overall views. And I would say about 40 people, 40 to 50 people in chat. Although someone said last Sunday night when they came into the chat, they saw there were 93 people in it, which would be quite a bit for me. So maybe I don't get the accurate numbers. Like right now, I'm seeing 18 people and 13 likes, 35 minutes in. So I don't know what you guys are seeing. But Sunday nights will be my flagship show, 7 p.m. Sunday nights, or as close as I can get to 7 p.m. Um, and then, I'll do a Wednesday night. Thank you, Johnny Gold. Is that the infamous Johnny Gold, one of my longtime stand-up comedy compatriots? Um, I think the most I saw. Yeah, I mean, I think the most I saw on Sunday night was 47. But when my friend came in, he said, "No, I saw 93." So I mean, I would think I would have seen that, but I also have heard from people that they see different numbers than what I see. So who knows? Um, like I said, I'm not planning on making my living doing this streaming and ads on my videos, but okay, Johnny. There's two Johnny goals out there. Yeah, well, Melton's on too early now for me. Like when Melton was on at 4 a.m., that's right around when I'm going to bed, so I could kind of stay up and fuck around a little bit with him. But now I think he comes on at 6 or 8, somewhere in that time frame, and I'm asleep by then. I have incredibly bizarre sleeping hours. I'm not going to kid you there. Yeah, and so I don't like I used to listen to Steel Toe and Melton and then sometimes I'd check in with Shuley, but really the only one I consistently listen to is MLC because I get up around 1. Uh, it's a great life, stand-up comedy. I am part vampire, no doubt about it. But my sleeping habits are part because of my job, doing comedy. You get home 2 or 3 in the morning, you're high if you do well, so you can't calm down till, 4 to 5 in the morning. At least I can't. And I also got part of my sleeping habits from my mom, who literally would go to sleep at 7 a.m. She'd stay up all night. My dad would get up at 7 a.m., go to church and all that. So they had complete opposite schedules. So I've kind of picked more my mom's schedule than my dad's. You ever perform on the East Coast, Philly, South Jersey area? I mean, I have done shows in Doylestown, Pennsylvania when I was dating Lois's mom. That's Gail, for those of you who don't know my full history of women, because Gail is from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Um, and then I haven't, it's unfortunately, I'm in the weirdest fame level to comedy clubs. Like I'm not unknown, but I'm not known. So they don't really see me as a draw, which I get. And I'm not super aggressive about playing the road because I make my money right now, the majority of it in voiceovers. I'm up for a big gig that I auditioned for yesterday. So, voiceovers pay incredibly well, but it's also a very, very competitive field. Like, and I'm in the best and worst category, booming, deep baritone. There's literally probably under 10 who I do too, Johnny. So you think, wow, you got good odds of, um, under 10 people, but it's, they all work. Like it's Dylan McDermott, it's Rob Riggle, it's James Earl Jones. Now James Earl Jones doesn't have to audition; they offer him the gig, but like I'm still competing against him in a weird way. Um, the black guy who does the Arby's commercials, we've got the meats. I know Giant Robot is back, fully rehabbed. Thank you for you guys checking in. Chandler got me that. So shout out to someone I haven't talked to in 2 years. Will Arnett gets so I'm not necessarily, I'm going up against only celebrities, so I have to hope that they all are busy. Um, and uh, and then I'm going up against like 3 or 4 versions of me, like working actors or comics or whatever. So I mean, voiceover work is really amazing to get. Oh, is that the Arby? Is Ving Rhames the Arby's guy? Because I auditioned for that. I was told I was one of the final. I never knew that. Wow, that's crazy. I was told I was one of the final choices. Arby's, we've got the meats. But yeah, I mean, I also he's in one of my. I was just on. Well, not just 2 months ago, maybe. I was on the roast of Popeye from Blood In, Blood Out, and Ving Rhames was in Blood In, Blood Out. I think they're doing a 30th anniversary um, showing of Blood In, Blood Out. And I can't wait because I apparently this is the first one where most, if not all, of the casts are going to be there. I guess you know, there's big money in the autograph circuit and convention circuit, and this is the first one I think where they're all going to be there from the movie, like Benjamin Bratt. And, of course, I think the only one who's not going to be there is the guy I played in the Popeye roast, Big Al. Because I'm sure this guy was like a legitimate actor, and in Blood In, Blood Out, he was the rapist. It's like the Mexican Star Wars. It's like it's a very long movie, but it's also a great cast. I mean, you've got Delroy Lindo, um, Damien Chapa, um, Ving Rhames, Benjamin Bratt, Jesse Borrego, who I believe was also in Miami Vice. Who else is in it? Yeah, I mean, it's very much like the Mexican colors. Um, so I asked the guy from Colors to be on my podcast, Grand Bush. He was also in the helicopter scene with Robert Davi in Die Hard, where Robert Davi's like, "Yeehaw! It's just like Vietnam, huh, Slick?" And he goes, "I was in junior high, dickhead." He wouldn't do my podcast. So, yeah, I mean, I was thinking of you talk about a slim niche audience. I was thinking maybe, yeah, but he wouldn't come on my podcast, man. It's like, come on, Mr. Bush. Uh, how many people in this is probably 2021 are asking you to be interviewed? Come on. He was in Colors. He was in Lethal Weapon. He was in obviously Die Hard. I mean, the Hollywood Shuffle. He was great in. But you know, if I watched every episode of Miami Vice front to back, we so the next 50 streams are probably it's probably in, I don't know how many total episodes were in Miami Vice. I guess probably 5 seasons, probably over 100. But that's a real niche um, stream, but it could catch on. Yeah, I mean, now I would do it with Zoom, but I don't. I asked the girl if you ever remember the '80s band Britney Fox. They were like Diet Cinderella. They had a really great video called "Girls School," and it was just all hot girls. And I asked the girl who I saw in a Geico commercial recently. She played the teacher in the video, like the frumpy, heavy set teacher. I said, "Hey, I'm a big fan of Brittany Fox. Would you come on my podcast and talk about that video?" She's like, "I've seen your stand up. No, thank you." Uh, I mean, I don't think there'd be enough people into it to warrant the time of doing it. Like, I would just literally do a live stream of me watching the episode and commenting on it. Um, I mean, it is a niche audience. Um, and my long ago girlfriend, Anne, she worked at a money manager's office in West LA. Well, that's the problem, Johnny. I think you'd be the only person watching. So, That could add up in the super chat world if you're the only one super chatting me. Uh, and Switek from Miami Vice was Michael Talbot. Um, he was one of the clients. Of course, he was in. I think he was in Any Which Way, Every Which Way You Can, or Any Which Way But Loose. He played a cop. And he was also the stunt car driver in Used Cars. He was also in Carrie. It's also my favorite movie, or one of my favorite movies, Big Wednesday, as Hog, the party enforcer. So he had a nice career. But then pretty much after Miami Vice, the only now you think he's in every episode of Miami Vice, always had speaking lines, that his acting career would be pretty rock solid. And outside, he was also in Rambo, one of the detectives. But you would think his acting career would be long term. And after Miami Vice, the only gigs he really got was in Brian Dennehy movies because that was his best friend. And he now, I think he moved back to Waverly, Iowa or Idaho. Iowa or Idaho, I'm not sure. Yeah, he was the one who got the spike strip in the legs. And then there's David Caruso, played a cop in Rambo, and also the great Mulkey. Mulkey, not is it Alex Mulkey? Mulkey, Chris Mulkey, who is maybe one of the great character actors of this generation. I mean, he's been working steadily for 50 years. I remember seeing him in The White Shadow, and he is. I saw him 2 years ago in Animal Kingdom. So, like, that's crazy. I mean, his SAG residuals must be pretty nice. You're a working actor for 50 years. 40th anniversary of Miami Vice is in Miami next year, and I think Michael Talbot is one of the actors that have agreed to be there. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of going to that, but um, I don't know. I'd like to see who go. I mean, if they had all of the main cast, I would go. You know, it'd be kind of cool to meet Edward James Olmos and John Deal. I'm sure John Deal will be there. I don't know if Don Johnson would be. You know, Don Johnson kind of strikes me as not running away from Miami Vice, but you never really hear him talk about it. Yeah, I mean, David Caruso, highs and lows. Colors is a great movie. I've asked High Top to be on my podcast, the great Glenn Plummer, to talk about Colors and Showgirls, but so far, no dice. So, we'll see what happens. And there were some great movies. I was thinking yesterday from like 1982 to like 88, some killer action movies. Starting with say Nighthawks, Rambo, Terminator, Raw Deal, Over the Top, Tango and Cash, Lethal Weapon, Predator. I mean, I would. I mean, I saw Don Johnson at a Dodger game. He seemed pretty nice. Hey there, Earl. Good to see you. Let's go Kings. Oh shit, Chris, what up? What up? Um, I mean, maybe. I mean, 40th anniversary. I mean, this is probably the last big anniversary that some of these guys sadly are going to be alive. I mean, Edward James Olmos, he's up there, man. And uh, I mean, but I get it. Like, I'm sure Don Johnson is sick of being asked about it. I mean, it'd be great if Michael Mann were there, and a lot of the. I see Bruce McGill has signed on. He'd be great. Of course, he's in one of the great early episodes of Miami Vice. I think it's Where the Buses Run, Out Where the Buses Run, where he played crazed FBI rogue agent Hank Weldon. Now, in full disclosure, if you go on Apple Podcasts and you look up the very first interview for the Inappropriate Earl, or the very first review for the Inappropriate Earl podcast, you might see a familiar name. Under a pseudonym of Hank Weldon, I wrote a review for my own podcast. What are you gonna do? Busted. Uh, okay, William Zoom, you are a very knowledgeable. It's one of my favorite endings, and you talk about character actors. Hank Weldon, Bruce McGill's partner in that episode of Miami Vice was the great David. I think it's Strathairn, um, who is he's like Chris Mulkey. He's been a working actor since before Miami Vice. So top chat. I'm going to see. What is the difference between top chat and live chat? I've never understood that. Uh, who do you love, Chris? David Strathairn or Bruce McGill? Or both? You can love both. And thank you for Mike Schlabs. If you're still in there for the two super chats, I appreciate it. I know in this economy, times are tight. So to tip me $10, very cool. Yeah, but I mean, he's a guy who's like an under the radar. He's that typical, you know his face, but you don't know his name. I mean, I think he was in the Blacklist for a few episodes. I mean, he's a who's who of live chat shows all messages. Okay, and so what does top chat show? Just people who chat the most. I'm still learning the ins and outs of YouTube chat. We'll go. Let me see. It's 5:12. We'll go for another 10 minutes. So if you have any last minute questions about Miami Vice, hockey, Judas Priest, and there's Hank Weldon and Tony Arcaro, they killed. That's one of probably my favorite. I have two favorite endings of Miami Vice. That where they go into the abandoned house and Tony Arcaro is buried in the um, walls of the abandoned house. Just really good acting, and a great final scene where Crockett and Tubbs driving along the streets of Miami. What was the song? "Brothers in Arms" by Dire Straits. I mean, that was when Miami Vice was at its peak. Perfect music choice for that scene. The hum of the Ferrari, which I think was just a shell of a Ferrari and a Corvette underneath the hood, but we won't call out Michael Mann for that. And then when Zito died, great final scene when was it Steve Winwood's "There's a River" when Switek finds him with the heroin needle in his arm. Just perfect music for that scene. So yeah, that was a good episode. I also like Glover fan. Uh, he was in one of my favorite episodes, season 3, Linen Ear. That's another one of my favorite endings. It's kind of an under the radar ending because I don't know if that episode is that popular with the hardcore fans, but John Glover played a surveillance guy. He basically did what Switek and Zito did. Um, and so the whole time he's double dipping with Crockett and Tubbs and the bad guy. And at the end, when John Glover thinks he's gotten away with all his double dipping, Switek bugs his home, and then on the TV screen, Don Johnson appears, and his name in that episode was Steve Duddy, Miami Steve, and I forget what Don Johnson said on the TV screen, but it said, "Hello, Steve. Now I'm watching you." And just like it was the neon. It was the room was kind of dark like this, and the it was like a purple neon bouncing off of John Glover's face, and it was just really, really like, man, those first 3 seasons of Miami Vice, man, especially the first two, are like pretty flawless. And then once Michael Mann left to do Crime Story, mm, it's like when Chris Carter did season one of Millennium. Millennium season one was awesome. And then when he left, I think to go back to X Files, and he left the controls of the show to two other writers, it was just different. And after Michael Mann, he never really left Miami Vice, but he handed the reins over to, of course, the great Dick Wolf. It's a little different, and I think the music, Todd Rundgren, I think took over the music, if I believe. So the music was a little different. Um, oh yeah, I mean, I can only well, I like the Daytona, the black Daytona, and then maybe that was, or was the white one the one with the fake shell, and then it was a Corvette underneath it. Um, I would love a day, if I ever make a lot of money in this business and at 55, who knows if that's going to happen. You guys are going to have to super chat a lot of money for this to happen. I would love a Daytona like the one in Miami Vice, but I'd have to custom make it to automatic because I can't really drive stick. Um, oh, the black one was the fake one. Okay, if that makes sense, because it did have kind of a. I mean, a Daytona does kind of have the shape of a Corvette. Um, oh wow, that's cool. Um, I mean, I've met the guy. I don't think he's the guy who made that car, but Barris, not George Barris, who. Okay, that's cool. I wonder where they are. That white one was pretty dope looking car, as the kids say. I mean, I can drive stick, but like I wouldn't feel comfortable driving like a Daytona stick. Those are pretty old school. I'd have to take it into a Ferrari dealership and say, "Turn it into an automatic, boys. Here's the cash." Okay. I think Barris had something to do with the Batmobile. That's where I met him. I met him somewhere where there was the Batmobile, and it was just him standing by the Batmobile. I'm like, "Oh, that's a cool car." He's like, "I know. I built it." Oh, okay. Um, oh, real? Oh, wow. That's cool. I would just love to sit in a Testarossa. I've test driven a Porsche once just because I lied and I told the guy I was a billionaire. Oh, we'll let you test drive. It is crazy. We test drove. I think it was like a 911 automatic. There used to be a Porsche dealership where this is a little old school LA for you, where the disco Oscos was. That's thank God it's Friday. If you've ever seen that movie, Oscars was the disco, and it's now a no, it's a Trader Joe's now. But I just lied and told the guy I was a billionaire. So he said, "Well, let's take this. This is the most expensive car in the lot." It's like a $100,000 911, and the looks I got in that car when we hit the Sunset Strip, and this guy knew what he was doing. He's like, "Let's take it up to Sunset Plaza, where all the rich people eat for lunch and dinner." And like every girl was like, "You fucking cunts." Oh, sorry, I don't want to get my stream taken down. My bad, my bad. 5:19. We'll do a couple more minutes. I have to walk up to yoga class, but I also have to sneak out because Lois has separation anxiety. So I have to kind of like, she's asleep right now. So if I can sneak out enough where she can't hear me. Okay, USA. What movie was that from? I know Zoom will Earl in the afternoon. Yeah, I mean, uh yeah. Oh shit, William, what do you live on my street? Flaming Saddles is now going to be some kind of weed restaurant or something. I do. It doesn't work. I leave the TV on, I put my Spotify on, I got maximum sounds in this place. It still doesn't help. um but I need yoga, and I'm the worst person in yoga, but like nobody cares. Like it's all hot chicks, couple of gay dudes, and me. Um, so Knight Rider, okay, that makes sense. Sorry, it is hard to. So my vision is so bad that that's the one thing I do like about super chats is like They're highlighted because now I'm looking at all these chats going, "Did I talk to?" I try and talk to everyone, but I don't want to miss um, and the Munster car. Okay, I worked at a service station. You get to drive a nice car for a very short time porting. Yeah, I mean, uh, but now the Flaming Saddles is going to be some kind of weed establishment that Patricia Arquette is in. I will. Okay, she's asleep right now. I have to leave to go to yoga, so I have to kind of sneak out. Uh, yeah, Lois does not like water. That's her biggest like, "Rawr," and she does not like big dudes because I think she was abused by a big dude. So hopefully, um, you know, I mean, it took her a while to get used to me, um, but she loves women, which is ironic given the neighborhood we live in. So, well, well, no, I mean, well, there. It's funny you say that. There was a weed during the pandemic. Talk about bad timing. It was on La Brea and I think Fountain. For those of you who are LA um, locals or familiar with LA, La Brea and Fountain. So Hollywood, kind of by where Fat Sal's is, if you know what that is. And it was a weed infused restaurant where you could like get a burger that had like THC in it or something. And I used to walk Lois by there on really long walks. And man, the the weed was like unbelievable. And I think they served booze there too, but I think it went out of business. So it'll be interesting. I mean, West Hollywood is a very cannabis friendly city. But there have been a lot of uh, businesses in the Flaming Saddles location that have gone out of business. Um, so I don't. I'm always curious to see. I'm come from a business background, if you can believe that, and I was just walking Lois. I'll leave on the state of West Hollywood business. I was just walking Lois by a pizza place that went out of business. I never saw anyone in this pizza parlor, and they went out of business, so it's been vacant for a while. And then I walked by it yesterday, and it's another pizza place. Now, wouldn't you do your fucking research and go, I don't think a pizza place works here for whatever reason? Because it's not great parking. It's a lot of traffic, but the parking's not great. And it's not a lot of walk-through traffic. So I'm curious to see how Patricia Arquette's thing will do. But I have noticed that the last 2 months I've seen no work going on. So they might have run out of money. Uh, I know the one day I was walking Lois, the manager was outside smoking, and just some crazy fucking homeless guy attacked him out of the blue. And I kind of chased the guy off, and then the guy looks at me and goes, "Is it like this around this neighborhood?" And I'm like, "You would think you guys would have done the research on this neighborhood. It's heavily homeless related, and you're going to have people pissing and sleeping in the front of your building on a daily basis. So if you guys are going for high end customers, you're not going to get them here." So, oh yeah, but I think, and I had this conversation the other day with my friend who was saying a lot of Italian restaurants go out of business because people are trying to eat healthier and they don't want all the carbs and butter and shit. I'm like, listen, Dantana's is sold out every night, 7 nights a week because it's if you ever are in LA, you must go to either Dantana's or Jones on Santa Monica Boulevard. Um, like it's old school. Like the waiters are all pro waiters. The maitre d's a professional maitre d. The bartenders have all been at Dantana's for 30 years. Not quite that long at Jones, but they've all been there. Paul, the door guy at Jones, has been there for 20 years. So, I think any restaurant can work, but that the service has to be astronomically good. Um, yeah, you're probably right on that, Dominic. Oh my God, we have Peter the Chicken Man Brennan. Is Leslie Jones still bumping comics at the store? 100%. I mean, I had a main room spot the other night at midnight. She did 40 minutes in front of me, not directly, but a few in front of me. So my midnight set, I ended up going on at 1:15. And that's where it sucks. It's not so much for the person going on right after her because they still get to go on in front of a good crowd, but it's for guys like me who get to go on, now instead of 12 when the crowd's probably still going to be good. I get to go on at 1:15 where they're dying, the waitresses are dropping off checks, but she doesn't care. It's just kind of disappointing with Leslie because I knew her when she lived in her car and was borrowing money from Steve and Azizi. And we always got along. And then one day we got into it at roast battle, and I think she tried to kind of like come for me, and I mean, roast battle is Brian Moses' show, but the belly room back then during roast battle was my room. Like no one got the better of me. I was just, you know, I was too involved and too good. But no, like the lineup was, she doesn't. She just shows up, so she doesn't really tell the comedy story, and she just kind of bullies her way onto the stage, and um, so it throws off the lineup. So the person who's going on at 11 now goes on at 11:40, and the person who was going on at 11:15 now goes on when I'm supposed to go on at midnight, and then the person like me who goes on at midnight is now going on at 1:15. So there's nothing you can do about it. And people, like one guy said, "Well, get better and you'll go on earlier." It's not the point. It's really not the point. Um, but what are you going to do? All right, guys. I think it's time for me to go to yoga. If you have any last minute questions, ask them now. I must try and lowest proof my. I mean, we used to get along. William, namaste. Uh, so olive oil and garlic. That's not. See, I'm sorry, I missed that. Well, you're right, William. So I'm reading this in reverse. Um, I mean, but my point about Dan Tana's and Jones is, um, like they have lasted every other Italian restaurant that's gone out of business because their service is just state of the art. Like, and Jones is a slightly younger working crew, like, but because the owner Keith is like, if you're a bad employee at Jones, you don't get a second shift. So I've never done Pilates because I'm scared. No, I'm the one who farts in people's faces. Hello. Um, but I've never done Pilates because I'm afraid of stretching like my leg because I have a torn ACL. And an ACL is, it's very uh, I don't want to go through that rehab again. So I love you guys. Thank you for the support always. Let me thank my super chatter. Thank you, Mike Schlabs, for the contributions. And thank you guys for helping me get to 4,000 hours. That's the next goal. And then I can put ads on all my videos and make about $700 a month. That's my version of the hype train. So if you guys are local, I'm at the Comedy Store Saturday night, midnight. If Leslie shows up, 1:15. January 30th, I'll be judging the Stevie Lou Chad Zumach roast on MLC. And January 29th on the ID channel, I will be on the show for the full hour. Fame Kills. Um, so um, check that out. It is a sad story, but um, you know, I'm doing my best. So tomorrow night I'll be doing a stream after Rampage, AEW Rampage. Um, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Earl Skakel, over and out.